live.
It'll just show up that the requesting.
We're telling your friends, yep, got the notification. Because it sends a notification to like all your followers saying you're now live.
Let me know when you're in.
Carla's in.
Huh?
Carla.
I wish I could like see when they like see them.
Miguel joined.
He's in? Is his box up?
He hasn't requested yet.
What about her? Talk to me.
There's people joining. Miguel sent a request to join. Do you want me to let him in?
Yeah, what about her?
Talkspace just joined.
Okay, thanks.
Do you want me to do both of them at the same time?
And let me know to say hi.
Okay. Miguel, it's yours.
Hey, what's up?
We made it. Hello.
Hello. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. How you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
It seems so dark. I'm like literally under light and it seems really dark. Is it too
Hello,
dark?
everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Is that better? That might be a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right. So, welcome everybody. I am Jody Blum, the Executive Director of the Dr. Brandt Foundation. We're dedicated to supporting the mental health and well-being of diverse and underserved communities, and really also bringing awareness to mental health issues such as depression and suicide prevention. It is such our pleasure to kick off Mental Health Awareness Month with our partner Talkspace, an incredible special guest tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. First, I would like to introduce Talkspace's own Catherine Richardson, who is a licensed professional counselor specialized in trauma and stress management. As a woman of color, her passion is reducing the stigma of mental health within her community and bringing awareness to its benefits. As well, we are so honored to have Grammy Award-winning artist and mental health advocate Miguel. Miguel is one of the most prolific singer-songwriters of his generation, and his new EP, Art Dealer Chic 4, is out now, so you've got to make sure to get it. Talking Out Loud is on repeat, my friends. Miguel will share tonight how mental health has influenced some of these songs, as well as just so much more in his beautiful personal journey. So without further delay, I thank you both so much. We are truly better together, and I will turn it over to both of you.
Hi, everybody. So glad to be here and so glad to have an opportunity to talk about this very important issue. I know we want to hear some of Miguel's story. I thought I'd start off by talking a little bit about mental health and what it is. Just a broad term for mental health, or just a broad definition, would be psychological and emotional well-being. But that can also be kind of an umbrella term for really everything that just helps you be your best, everything that helps you be who you are, everything that empowers you to care for yourself and others, and it equips you for the challenges ahead. So it's Mental Health Awareness Month. That's what we're here to talk about. 2020 has been a doozy. Would you say so, Miguel?
Absolutely. What?
Yes, it's been quite a year. You know, just with the pandemic, racial injustice, political unrest, and then on top of that, the stressors that people of color already face. It's been a year. So talk to us a little bit about you and what your journey with mental health has been and what's helped you to overcome some of the things that you faced.
Absolutely. First and foremost, it's a pleasure. Thank you for making time for this. It's really awesome to at least be able to, talk to a few people just about, just the challenges and maybe some things that may have helped and dealing with some of the challenges, because everybody's got, things that they're dealing with that they probably don't tell too many people about, and keep very close to the chest,
Yeah.
as you would say. But as I think everyone would agree, it just was a really challenging year, 2021, and we're just over a year from the time we started quarantine here in the United States, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it almost seemed like there was a buildup. We had lost, an icon, and
Mm-hmm.
Kobe had passed, so that was, and being from Los Angeles, that was devastating.
Yeah.
So he's a hero, he's a hero of ours.
Yeah.
Uh, so him passing, and then, just kind of the snowball of the global pandemic, just, really starting to affect more and more people as the years went, trying to navigate the challenges of what that meant, not only psychologically, but what that meant, financially,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of personal friends and family that were lost. I think everyone has just been dealing with a tremendous amount of stress. So, and it's no different. So just happy to be here and just, share as much as I can. So, we can
Yeah.
all help each other.
Yeah. Well, I know that in your new EP, Art Dealer Chic 4, you weave in mental health all through it. So tell us a little bit about just your personal story and what inspired you to do that.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. I grew up in a small town called San Pedro, as well as Inglewood.
Okay.
I'm the son of a Mexican father, black mother, that had his challenges, just because being racially ambiguous, especially in the 90s, was um, in Los Angeles. It was a
Mm,
challenge, especially there was a lot of racial tension between blacks and Mexicans here, and when you grow up in underserved communities like I did, um, they happen to be a hotbed for that kind of tension,
yeah.
for a number of reasons, as we all know. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was very much um, kept from a lot of the nonsense, not only from my family, but from the neighborhood. The neighborhood was very protective of me. They knew that I was talented, that I had dreams of pursuing music as a career, and they all supported me. But it didn't keep me all the way out of a lot of, the situations and the tension that just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
happened to be prevalent at the time. So um, I think that a little bit of that always kind of stuck with me, and just the challenges of identity, which we all,
Mhm.
in some way, shape, or form, I'm sure, kind of face as we grow up. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are things that absolutely kind of affected me growing up, and I love to
Hmm.
share it now, because there's kids out there who, and people
Oh,
out there
yeah.
who relate.
Yeah, definitely. It's so interesting how each of our stories affect other people. And it's beautiful that you can do that through music. And each of us have a way that we share our gifts with the world. We share our experience with the world. We also share our healing with the world. So talk to us some about what have been some of the ways that you've healed. What have been some of the ways that you've been able to overcome some of those struggles?
Man, overcoming the struggles of, you know, sort of the ups and downs of life are, I think they're so unique. What has really helped me is sort of you know, one, acknowledging that
Mm,
things aren't as they could be or as good as they could be. First and foremost, I think is a massive step,
mhm.
because I think we're sort of we're conditioned to kind of put up a facade, you know,
Oh, yeah.
not only on a personal day-to-day level, but with social media and whatnot. I think everyone is sort of broadcasting,
Mhm.
the very best of what's happening in their lives, and um, certainly the way that the platforms are built in order to keep our attention there, in order to make more money via, advertisements, doesn't help. There's a whole system and a whole way of programming that's intentional. So I think it sort of trains us. It sort of uh, conditions us to really put up, sort of a filtered version of ourselves, and it makes it harder in
Yeah.
real life to just be real. And
Yeah.
that's sort of what it requires. It requires going, okay, everything's not all perfect. Everything isn't always great. I'm not
Mhm.
always winning. I'm not always living my best life. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a human being. We have our challenges, and I think the first step was that, and then seeking out people who can help have those conversations to untangle whatever the knots are,
Yeah.
that are keeping you from being right in the moment, really enjoying life as I feel like we really can, we truly can. And I've had, have moments where, I feel very, very clear, and I'm confident, and I'm feeling good about myself, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
We all should feel that way, about ourselves, and
Yeah.
be in a place where we can love and nurture ourselves first, because I think when we can do that, then we can do that for others. And that's sort of what I think is what we need as human beings, right? So those two
Yeah.
things I think are the beginnings for me.
Yeah, so acknowledging, naming what's going on, and that requires being honest with yourself.
Right.
Particularly on that, how do you feel communities of color struggle to do that? Because historically, we haven't really been able to name weakness. We haven't always been able to show up as our true selves,
Mhm.
because it could be dangerous and potentially
Mhm.
fatal for us. So, how is
Mhm.
that a struggle, or have you found that as a struggle as a multiracial man?
Mhm. Absolutely. It's really hard to put words to sort of the pressures, the expectations, um, to perform, to execute, to show up, despite one understanding that a lot of what we do has to do with survival.
Yeah.
Um, and when you're coming from that place, when you're just trying to survive, that's a lot of internal sort of processing that's happening. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I can only speak for myself, but I would wager that everyone is in some way, shape, or form felt like it's too much, and I
Yeah.
think that's why we get to these moments where we need to step away, or why we resort to, you know, and here we go. I'm gonna say this. I'm in Los Angeles, so this is legal. Like
Right.
I smoke weed daily, and coming from the hood, that I didn't realize it growing up that was for a lot of people. Like that's, I mean, how can you expect people who one aren't in a position to do better for themselves, two, who don't have the resources to get
Mm-hmm.
better or seek better, three, who have been programmed by sort of society and then also by our own neighborhoods to sort of bottle all of our tension up
Mm-hmm.
inside. I mean, where else are we going to go? Luckily
Yeah.
we do have, you know, I mean, thank goodness weed is a plant and it's from the earth and that's all natural. And I'm not by any way, shape, or form like encouraging anyone to go smoke or do whatever. I'm
I
just
got
saying, I think I say that to say that, we're at a point where we get to see beyond just survival.
yeah.
But man, look at how many people that, despite all the tension and the lack of resources, they still become great. So
Mm.
I just think, man, if we can do that, what
Oh,
if we did have the hard conversations? What if we did
yeah.
some help? I need to talk about this. I'm not okay. I think there's so much untapped potential. That's why it's important that we have these conversations when we can, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much potential indeed. Um, what I'm hearing is that even amidst all the struggles, even amidst all the trials, there's still room to grow, so much room to learn. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping, and I'm sure you're thinking the same thing, of hoping through Mental Health Awareness Month, we can.
Oh, I'm hoping we didn't freeze. Am I frozen, guys? Did I
Oh,
freeze?
sorry, Catherine froze for a second, so I'm gonna step back in and take over till she resumes. Um, so I definitely feel what you're saying. I'm certainly not a mental health professional, so I'm very sensitive in what I speak and the responsibility in the language, but just to talk like human to human, and certainly being an advocate of communities of color, and mental health, and how that it has to be brought to light in such a more significant way. You know, I definitely resound with what you're talking about. I mean, there's so many other introspective conversations just within that, you know, around the justice system, and in mental health specifically, of like how you're saying, you know, people that are locked up over the use of, you know, of weed, and then
She's back.
oh, Catherine's back. So I'll start off with, or get off my tangent, but we'll talk about that on another day.
So sorry about that, guys. But you were just talking about, even amidst all the struggles that communities of color faced, still we rise. You know, still we accomplish, still we innovate, still we create. And that's an amazing thing. That's resilience, that's grit. How have you in your life been able to form that grit? You know, one of the ways you talked about was not only acknowledging, but having a community of people behind you. So what role have the people in your life played in you developing that resilience just in your own life?
Man, I would say the support that you have from you know, your closest, you know, friends and family, man, or lack of support really can change, you know, how hard it is. Because in all actuality, I feel like everybody's sort of on a day-to-day basis sort of fighting or swimming upstream in one way, shape, or form. You know,
Yeah.
whatever you get to do, or whatever you have to do in a day, you know, there's going to be challenges. And when you do have a support system of people who, you know, you can be honest and open with, who are gonna be there for you, show up for you, you know, and encourage you when you need it, also tell you when, you know, you need to get it together when it's not. Having that sort of trust completely changes how challenging, or how you know, how heavy it seems. Because just like the mindset of it, if you have the trust, that's a little bit of bandwidth that you can kind of let go. You know that if things get too heavy and you veer off, that you have someone that's gonna, you know, bolster you up and hold you up, and say, you got it, you can do it, and they believe in you, you know. And so I think that's probably why, like, in all honesty, I never before really considered talking about sort of more day-to-day personal challenges, because I felt maybe it was my job to, my best offering was what I get to do in transmuting my emotions through music, you know. And and it's beautiful, man. I'm so blessed. Like, I really, everyone that's, you know, watching, that's here, who knows about my music, I really truly am grateful, because, you know, there's a lot of like talented people who don't get to do what I get to do. So at the same time, I also realize that with the platform, like, I also get to think of young version of me who was, you know, who was trying to figure out, okay, well, not Mexican enough, am I, you know, I'm not this, I'm not that, they think I'm this, but I'm, you know. And just the struggle of that, which I think everyone, again, is like dealt with in some way, shape, or form, especially when you're growing up. I feel like there's some value there. So, and I know there's people who don't have that kind of support system. So just to even say, I feel you, I understand, you know, if I don't all the way get it, I can empathize and sympathize with what you're going through, and just say, you know, we're all human, we all got it. You know, I'm no different. Nobody that you see is not dealing with some challenges, you know, that they maybe not, that aren't even theirs. You know, maybe it's the things that they were taught when they grew up, that they learned from the community, that they, you know, learn the hard way, or whatever, from, you know, failure or whatever, or maybe not, and I hate to say failure, but you know, in the challenges of trying to reach some you know, goal, and not getting there as soon as they thought they would. You know, I think we all just need that encouragement. So, you know, just, that support system is real.
So sometimes it's not even people fixing it, because there's sometimes where people, there's nothing they can do about it, but just having another person in it with you, having another person, even if they've never been through your situation, to say, you know, I'm here to listen, I'm here to be present, that it sounds like that's made a big difference in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Without a
Yeah.
doubt.
And along with the people in your life, you've also had your music to almost grow up with you, because you can look back to listen to certain songs and hear like, oh man, what was I thinking then? I was like on some more stuff. And then hearing how you've evolved to now, what journey have you seen yourself take in your music?
It's really a trip. The journey in music is always reflective of my headspace in a given time. And I think that's sort of my way. Let's say sort of my autobiographies are very much captured in sort of the bodies of work that I've put out. At least in terms of what my priorities are, what I'm focused on at a given time. And I think it's been more of anything, even though they may not be as, again, that's probably why I'm very passionate about talking about this stuff off the, not on records, not in music, because I think there's some things that you can only really convey this way.
Yeah.
Maybe with no melody,
Yeah.
Some things are actually really very, very powerful when it's just said, and people can feel your vulnerability. I love to do it on record, but I think there's value there off record for people who maybe not even really care so much for my music, but just as a human being, if I can help encourage or just, give them some insight on what's helped me, I think the music is a reflection, but then also this is a reflection, of what my priorities are.
Yes, different parts. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey, and sharing your opinions just about all these different subjects. I want to give the people in the chat a chance to answer a couple of questions. So y'all go ahead and post your questions and we'll do a couple. But before then, Miguel, do you have any resources that you would share with everybody about things that help you? What do you do for self-care?
Absolutely. I mean, resources. My day-to-day is so much about routine. It helps me so much, and I try and do one thing for each sort of part, and we've all heard, body, mind, soul.
Yeah.
However you want to term those, I think is valid. It's sort of the pillars of, just clarity. So I try and do something for my body, wake my body up, get it all, you know what I mean? Just get air into every, so I do a 7-minute workout, if nothing else, every day. And if you just look up scientific workout, if you Google that, there's like a free app. You can use it. And I promise you it's effective. It's very, very effective. Especially if you can stay regular with it. I do it at least 5 out of 7 days of the week, normally 7 days, depending on how hectic my schedule is. But I mean, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes a day. And that'll at least wake your body up. It'll get your heart rate up, which has been proven to just be helpful with longevity, but also for clarity for your mind. It really helps kind of set the mood, set the tone in terms of motivation for the rest of the day. And then I love this. It's a meditation called the 6-phase meditation.
Okay.
And it's just sort of a maintenance meditation I do every day. This lasts about 15, 16 minutes. And if you just look up 6-phase meditation, there's a number of different versions. You can find it on YouTube. That's also free. Okay. I love that one. I love that because it starts with, first and foremost, it's guided. So for anyone who's not really, used to meditating or doesn't think it's for them or feel like they might fall asleep, this is really helpful because it's kind of walking you through, sort of what you should be envisioning, the emotions you should be sort of manifesting, because that actually kind of has a lot to do with, the effectiveness, efficacy of the meditation. But it goes through things like, self-forgiveness, forgiveness, first and foremost, is
that's
massive, right? Yeah. So, So it goes through forgiveness, through your, your vision, your goals for your next 5 years. Getting you
Okay.
in that mind state is important. It goes through centering yourself. It goes through 6 phases, and it's all super powerful by the end. Honestly, it's really, really been an effective tool and a maintenance tool every day. So I use that. And then what do? I try and read for about 15 to 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
The most effective, the most successful people, it's, studies have proven, and the most successful people have been interviewed, and, across the board, learning something new daily or reading daily
Mm-hmm.
is sort of a common factor across the board. So people who
Oh
are
yeah.
really successful are learning daily. They're trying to
Mhm.
absorb and learn how to do it better every day. So, I'm trying to do my best to incorporate that, and it's been really helpful. So those 3 tools I would highly recommend.
Okay, well, y'all heard them, so y'all go check those out. And what I
Mhm.
heard in what you said was just that connection of mind, body, spirit, and how important connecting and activating all those is, and taking care of each of those parts of yourself. So one of the questions that just popped up on the comments was, what does spirituality look like for you, if anything, and how does that play into your mental health?
Mhm. Uh Man, spirituality. Man, where do I begin with this?
Oh,
Before, growing up, I was taught that spirituality had to do with a relationship with a higher power.
mm,
My sort of, the way I see it now, spirituality is very much a relationship with your true self.
mm,
And um the way I would illustrate that is, if everyone right now watching, to yourself, could say, I'm a winner
mm,
right now, without using words. If you said it to yourself, you can hear yourself say that. You can hear your own voice without speaking.
hmm,
There's a difference between who your body is and the way that you think and who you are. And
mm,
spirituality to me is who you really are, without, this thing that
yeah,
we reside within. The brain is a whole other thing. The brain is built to compute, just like your phone,
yeah,
just like your laptop, just like it's built for a purpose, and it can be
mm-hmm,
trained and programmed just the same way. So the way that you think is not who you are. The way you
mm,
think is what you learned. The way you
mm-hmm,
think about yourself is what you learned. And so the
mm,
same way that a computer can be reprogrammed, can be upgraded, files can be deleted, all of those things, the same, that's our brain. And
yeah,
I think we get into these rhythms where we feel like we, I I feel this way about myself, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's just who I am. That's not the truth.
mm-hmm,
The real truth is that who we are, who we think we are, is we've proven it to ourselves over and over again based on how we believe. And
yeah,
how we believe is programmed. So spirituality is really understanding the separation between the connotative mind and then the true self, which I think is really our connection to God, our higher power, whatever that is.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know if I if I
Mhm.
if I made that clear, but that's sort of
No,
my.
it was deep. You kind of brought it all back. Because what I'm hearing is that we have agency, we have a choice in how we move forward and what we think and how we guide our lives. We're not things aren't just happening to us, but we can choose to change our thoughts. We can choose to change negative behavior patterns. So
Mhm.
that to you, that is a big part of spirituality, is that
Mhm.
agency you have over yourself to connect to whoever your higher power may be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One more time. I'm sorry. There was a question there, right? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, there wasn't a question. I was just talking.
Oh, sorry.
No question there. But speaking of questions, next question was, what would you tell your younger self? So let's say 10 years ago, what would you tell Miguel 10 years ago?
10 years, what I would tell myself 10 years ago would be focus on having fun doing what you love, not on what doing what you love can get you.
Mm.
And then 2, don't overthink it.
Yeah.
You know, also I would tell myself, begin with the end in mind.
That's a good one.
Because a ship on the water with no heading and no compass will get blown by the wind, will get carried off by the tide, and who knows if it will go anywhere or be sunken. But with a heading or a direction, a place on, a place that they're going, direction, and with a compass to help guide and direct, then the chances of reaching the destination are high. And the compass in our minds has to be, or for our ship, whatever you are your own vessel, right? Your compass is gonna be, what is fulfilling, what is exciting, what is thrilling, what excites you. If you can hone in on what excites you in life and you follow that, the chances of you, if you choose a destination, reaching that destination that goes along with that excitement are high. But if you can't pick a point in the distance that you want to reach and you're not sure, you can't focus on what's exciting you, then the winds of life, the tides of culture, challenges, and so on and so forth, that's going to carry you out. And the likelihood of you reaching anywhere further than where you are not high. So it's just like, you just got to pick a point in the distance as far as you can. And that's the real challenge, is because most of us, especially when we come from underserved communities, we our life is survival every day. My mother was a single it was a single parent family. My mother had a job, but it was a struggle. It was a struggle. We lived on like assisted living. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't easy. Sometimes I was coming home, I'm eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and happy. You feel what I'm saying? Like just to survive. I believe that life is not about survival. I believe life is about fulfillment. And we've reached a point where we can really have those conversations. So it's just about being able to see past the survival. And I think that really that comes with those two things. It's like, figure out what excites you, not what excites Instagram. What excites people. Like, it's like what really gets you excited and you can be passionate about and get behind and be happy about doing every day. If you can figure that, then you can go, okay, where does that take me? What is the furthest I can go with this? Pick that point in the sand and then work backwards. So then when the challenges come, you can stiff arm when it's not right. You can juke, when it's not, when it's gonna, when it's something that's gonna be detrimental. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can move and you can push when it's time because it's just natural. So,
yeah. Begin with the end in mind. That's good. That's a good little mantra just to remind yourself of those little things. I know you talked about meditation, and this can be our last question before we kind of close things out. What are some of the mantras and things that you kind of remind yourself of as you're doing meditation or as you're going throughout your day? What are those kind of sayings that give you inspiration, that help keep you grounded and lift you up?
Gratitude.
Okay.
I mean, it's not really a mantra or anything, but gratitude, like stay in gratitude, be grateful. Like there is always going to be some, like, look, Bill Gates, there's someone richer than him. You don't know about them because they don't want to report how much money they have or what they control.
Right.
And whoever that is, there's someone above and below them. And someone, everyone's got, wherever you are, or wherever you think you are, believe the next person that you think is the goal, they have someone greater than them in whatever whatever they're going for, whatever it is, and someone below them. The real question is how they interface with their life. Where they are financially or the things that they've acquired or whatever has nothing to do with their happiness. That's the real one right there. But gratitude, if you're grateful, you could be grateful wherever. with
Yeah.
nothing, with a lot.
Yeah.
Gratitude will keep you happy. And at the end of the day, like, happiness is really what everyone is going for anyway. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the gratitude is really like, the trippy part is like, people work hard to just learn to be grateful.
Mm.
Man, they go through the whole thing. They struggle. They do things that maybe don't feel good, but they think they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
They do things that are great and they can be proud of. They do it all sometimes. And they're still not grateful. Till finally they
Yeah.
got to sit down and figure out what's going to make me happy and grateful. And when they finally do, things just move. You'll figure out like
Mm-hmm.
things just start to just move when you're grateful. It's a
Mm.
trip. It's a trip.
Yeah, so that word in itself, you just try to kind of keep that at the back of your mind at all times, just grateful, gratitude, and it
And
changes everything. It changes your perspective.
it absolutely does. That and for me, I am worthy.
Mm.
I am worthy is a big one. I
Mm-hmm.
am worthy. And that's probably more personal, just to be completely honest. Like, I don't come from that programming.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't come from that programming. And for anyone here watching, like, it's just a reminder, you are worthy. You're
Mm-hmm.
worthy of what you desire. You're worthy to be great. You're worthy to win. You are worthy. You're more than worthy. You deserve, you know? If you can stay grateful, if you can really put the work and the time in that gets you to that place. And, you know, sometimes not easy, but if you get
Yeah.
behind that and you remind yourself that you are worthy, you will do the work. And the more and more you do
Mm-hmm.
that work, you'll be more and more grateful for who you are, not what you aren't, what you haven't, what is not.
Yeah.
You'll be so focused on, wow, I'm grateful that I am. And the more and more you become that, you start to build a different programming in your mind, and you believe in yourself more and deeper, which is a whole other kind of, it's a whole other vibe. You know, it's a different thing. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
with that,
awesome.
I'd love to extend my immense gratitude to both of you. Tonight was
Just thank you.
super special, and we're really, really grateful for your words, your sharing your personal journey, Catherine, for your advisement. Thank you both so much. We hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Please take care of each other. We all need each other, and I would just like to end with what I started, and it truly is, we are better together. So let's be
Mm.
there
Yeah.
for each other, lean on each other, share with each other, and know without a doubt that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much.
Big love. Thank you, Catherine. It really was a pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank you, guys.
Thank y'all so much.
Bye. Thanks,
Love
everybody.
everyone on here. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.